Hi, and welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. It is time for AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door predictions. And I can tell you what, nothing can be quite as forbidden as the vest I'm wearing here today. But I tell you what, I've got a great guest on with me, going to be going through everything with me match by match. It is one the only Mex from WrestleManiac UK. Mex, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, man. I'm very good. Looking forward to talking all things AEW Forbidden Door with you. And I've walked through the Forbidden Door myself. I'm very happy to be back on your channel. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. And yeah, looking forward to discussing everything. And we hope everything's going to go above board because just a little bit of fun for everybody. We actually thought we'd started and didn't press go live. So we actually talked for about a minute before we realized that we weren't live. So what we're going to do, we are actually going to go through the match card very quickly for people that aren't aware what matches are on Forbidden Door. And then we'll give our thoughts about the show and then give our predictions. So without further ado, if you're unaware of the match card, here it is. So a lot of big names, a lot of talent on that show. And just before we get into your thoughts, Rex, of what you think, Carl from OTM in house, they're celebrating their 100th show this evening on their YouTube channel. So go and check out OTM. And they're saying, let's get on to it. Congratulations, by the way, ahead of that show. And Anthony Manzano with us as well, saying hi, SCW. Hope you're doing well, Anthony. Thank you for checking out the stream. So, Max, I think first and foremost, for people that have been regulars on my channel, they'll know that I did a video on my Q&A, which was the problem with Forbidden Door. The idea of how at the point before this, it was more for hardcore fans, not for a casual audience. How do you feel about Forbidden Door? Do you feel that this partnership is going to be successful? I'm sure it's going to be from an in-ring perspective, but what are your thoughts with the build that we have for Forbidden Door? Do you feel for someone that's not interested in both companies, they're going to feel like, I need to see this?
I don't know about, that's a good question. If they feel like they need to see this, just for the sheer fact that it's an interpromotional event with, two of the biggest companies in the world today taking part. I would definitely encourage anyone. You need to see this sort of thing. We don't get shows like this at this high of a level so often. So yeah, this is definitely one to remember. In terms of the build, it hasn't really been all that great. I feel like because of the New Japan calendar is probably quite rigid. Straight out of Forbidden Door, for those that don't know, they're going straight into G1 Climax. They've already drawn the two blocks for that, and that's like their annual tournament that they're going to do. They're never going to move that. So AEW and New Japan have had this little window in between Double or Nothing and when the G1 starts in New Japan to squeeze this in. 4 weeks of build, and we've got a pay-per-view, and then it'll probably all go back to normal. So hasn't been ideal. I wish that maybe they could find somewhere else in the calendar to put this. Maybe next year, if this becomes an annual thing, they can kind of use a bit more all year round, or at least 3 to 6 months to build some of these matches, especially where you feel next time they do this, it should be more dream match centric. There should be Danielson available. There should be Omega available. So they can build it a bit better, and then we can have probably more so what we thought we were getting out of this. But they've pulled it out the bag. I'm sure Sunday night they're going to pull it out the bag in terms of excellent matches. And it's going to be a good event.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you suggest that this could be trial and error almost this year to gauge the interest, see what it's all about, and if they come back and do it next year, then it's a case scenario of, oh my God, right, okay, we can take time. Like you said there, we've got like a New Year's Smash, for example, to sort of have Okada come in, maybe attack someone he's not about because maybe Wrestle Kingdom time or whatever, build up to Revolution, build up to a Double or Nothing, and then all of a sudden you got the big payoff, Okada versus Bryan Danielson or a CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously the partnership this year round wasn't established that early on into the year, but once New Japan in January, they have on 4th of Jan, they'll have their Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash, and then we get straight into they've got other little pay-per-views and events that they do, but they can build to Forbidden Door almost like their it is like their Western Wrestle Kingdom at this point. It's going to be something as big as that. And I hope that's, they've already sold this out. They sold out Forbidden Door without a match being announced, which is amazing. Yeah. So I hope they could just really, increase the scale that this show is done on, and hopefully we're making plans for them on their budget, but hopefully this is actually an annual event.
It would be exciting if they can take this on and take it to the next level, because there's a potential mileage that can be gained from this. I think for a particular moment, from a casual aspect, I think that they could have done more video packaging, stuff like that, 100%. just to give us something a bit more to say, I know these people are going in. Like Excalibur can say this is a big deal, but then do we trust everything Excalibur says? I don't know Excalibur personally. So, it's one of them scenarios, Yeah,
100%. I think we've always been saying stuff like that in regards to just AEW in general. Like, give us more video packages, tell a bit more of the story so we know who these people are. But some have argued that AEW, New Japan, they're not trying to get the casual fan. This is for the hardcore sort of thing. And they are still growing. So it's not my concern how they wish to conduct their business. But yeah, even still, like for me, that I would consider myself somewhat a hardcore, I would like, just more video packages and stuff like that. So just things make sense. Like for instance, last night, the Juice Robinson being the United States, IWGP United States champion, and he's got the belt, but Will Ospreay is the actual champion. Will Ospreay is not carrying around the belt because Juice Robinson has it. And that was only announced, last week? Will Ospreay's been on TV for 3 weeks now? So it's just these little things that we can kind of let people know at the outset. You can't introduce someone as champion, but it's like, he's not holding the right belt. He's got the Rev Pro belt on him. So just little bits like that. But, I give them the benefit of the doubt. They are still a new company learning. So, yeah.
Absolutely. We have to be like that. And I must admit, before we start this video, so people are aware, obviously I've followed AEW since the start. New Japan, I'm a casual fan. So normal Wrestle Kingdom time, I'll have a butchers. I'll dive in. I'll see the main event. I'll go and see the big shows and stuff like that. Rest of the year, not as familiar with storylines of what's going on. And it feels like just before we go into our first match, it feels like a lot of the, like you said, we're not getting like the dream matches this time, but we are getting like this where card together. So it's kind of like sensibly placed rather than actually going with the big singles matches on this time round.
Yeah, they've definitely and you know what? This is the thing that a lot of companies do when you have inter promotional pay-per-views. It's always like, I don't want my top guy to lose to your top guy, and they play the card very safe. A lot of tag matches, a lot of maybe someone that's a champion facing someone that's beloved, so that the beloved person can lose and everyone still likes them. And it's booked in a very weird way. But I think after kind of worrying and having a bit of a shake in the last 2 weeks, they pulled it back this past week with all the announcements on what's on the card. So should be good.
Absolutely, indeed. I couldn't agree more. We'll quickly go into the comments and we'll go straight into the match card for everybody, because we're almost 10 minutes in and we've not even spoke about a match yet. Talk about waiting for our audience. We've got Noah in the house says, hello, Okada has arrived in AEW. He certainly has. I can tell you Mex has done a video on that reaction, but of course we'll get more reaction from him later in the video. And all I can say is it was nice to hear that penny drop. Nuben Cohen House saying, hello, Steve and Mex. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for checking out the video. He says the build-up for Bindor is random. It certainly is. We're going to go match by match in a couple of seconds. And someone that's going to be in attendance as well. We've spoken about OTM already. 2 weeks ago says, I don't know much about New Japan or their wrestlers. I wasn't too excited until I watched Dynamite. Should be some great matches to see live. I'm glad I bought a ticket. I think you're going to be very happy on the night. I think you're going to enjoy what you see. There are some of the best professional wrestlers in the world. There will be some missing, of course, where it's unfortunate with injuries and stuff like that. But the fact you're going to get the likes, from the New Japan side, Jay White, Okada, Shingo is going to be there. You got Tanahashi, Takahashi. There's so many great professional wrestlers there, and some I've not even mentioned. And honestly, I think it's going to be a good showing overall. And let's not forget as well, just to represent the UK as well, Zack Sabre Jr. I cannot wait to every good show. Should we start off with the buy-in, Mex?
Let's go for it.
Let's go for them buy-ins. So we've got the Gun Club of Max Caster going against the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo, the DKC, Kevin Knight, Alex Collin, I hope I've said that right, or Coughlin. And we've got Coughlin, and we've got Zua Umira. I hope I'm probably going to butcher a few names during this stream. Get the pre-warning out nice and early, as you probably can tell when it comes to the New Japan Dojo. I know diddly squat. I know absolutely nothing about this lot, but I do know that the DKC is going to be taking on Hook on Rampage. Are you aware of these performers? Have you seen anything about them before?
Yeah, so I look towards the LA dojo. So these guys are based in America in the LA dojo of the New Japan, the training and stuff. Shibata is actually their trainers. Very, very good wrestlers. Alex Coughlin is one of my favorites. Definitely gonna make a big splash. I saw him earlier this year in Rev Pro in London. So yeah, those are like well, I won't call them NXT 2.0 guys, but they are definitely next up in terms of breaking into the industry and breaking into New Japan.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, obviously, you said the likes of Aussie Open, those sort of guys would have been like dojos, and a lot of the people with dojos. That's a very common theme, and I think it's a very respectful thing to do on the buy-in tab, because you see this a lot of the time with New Japan. They usually have the traditional zero personality, have to earn their stripes, don't they, in the dojo?
That's exactly it. It's just all about putting in the work, being very respectful to the elders, the people that are coaching you, and all of that kind of stuff, and then put in the work, and then you'll get your opportunity at the top level.
Absolutely, indeed. There. So we have to quickly. I think the prediction could be straightforward on this one, but before we do go into it, we've got the Acclaimed and the Gun Club that have united. I'm not going to lie. I have found them extremely entertaining with the raps, with the getting the cities wrong, and just Anthony Bowman as well, just sissing me daddy-o. I mean, for me, I'm all over it. It's been hilarious to watch. What has been your thoughts with this lot here?
Max Caster and especially Anthony Bowens, they are so over right now. Yeah. Like they've done such a good job, especially where obviously Max Caster had a bit of trouble with one of his raps sometime last year, turned it around. They're really, really over. They've almost found someone more goofier than them in the Gun Club, which they can play off and now look reasonably sensible compared to them. So all of those guys, Gun Club included, they're doing a great job.
Would you argue as well, because obviously to a point, a lot of them appear in Dark Elevation when they get their Rampage, they get their AEW Dynamite performance, usually a losing effort. Would you argue this is almost like your dojo side of AEW as well? This could be your breakout stars. Like, could you see like the Acclaimed could be like a tag team champions in say a year to 18 months from now?
That's a good point. I would say maybe more 18 months to 2 years. There seems to be a bit of a queue in AEW for everything. So yeah, I definitely see them being tag team champions. It would probably just be a bit further down the line. But yeah, the Gun Club, especially Gun Club as well, still very young when it comes to wrestling. So yeah, they're all doing what they need to do now to just get better at their craft. It looks like they got the entertainment side of things down. I guess it's just the wrestling aspects.
Absolutely, indeed. There, and obviously a big question that I need to ask you as well then is the prediction. How do you see it playing out?
I'll go with Max Caster and the Gun Club, just because they're the more known of the two. But it could be one of these matches where these guys just completely out wrestle them, and then these Max Caster and Gun Club are left looking very silly, egg on their face sort of situation. But I'll back them for this match.
Interesting. I'm going to go with Max Caster and the Gun Club. I just can't look past it. I feel that it's that buy-in kind of feel, getting the crowd hyped. I think fans are on side with what's going on at the moment. So, like you say, it could be a good performance from the dojo, but I do see that we're going to get AEW with the first victory of the evening. But going on to the main card, one of the matches I'm really keen to talk about, nice and early doors with you, happens to be for the IWGP United States Championship. We're talking Will Ospreay, one of the best wrestlers in the world, taking on Orange Cassidy. Now, of course, a big congratulations to yourself as well. Obviously, you joined Wrestlings very recently as well. They had Will Ospreay in for an interview as well about a month or so ago. Fantastic interview, by the way. Recommend everyone to go and check that out. Now, during that interview, Will Ospreay said that when he was going to be, if he was going to take part of Forbidden Door at the time, he wasn't sure. He wanted to take on one of the AEW guys. He didn't want to go with the established. Do you think that this fits the narrative perfectly for Will Ospreay? Because not only is he's one of the best in the world, but this almost could be a challenge to go against someone like an Orange Cassidy, who is more like known for its gimmick rather than a rising star in ring style.
Yeah, 100%. Stylistically, they couldn't be more opposite, but they will put on a fantastic match. I'm sure everyone's seen in AEW last night on the Dynamite, they were in a tag match, but they had a little segment within that tag match where there was a lot of good exchanges between the two of them. So almost like a snippet of what we are going to see. Listen, this isn't the match I wanted to see Will Ospreay in. I won't lie to you. You know, like we said, this card in general should have been, you know, dream match after dream match after dream match. This is nobody's dream match, but this is going to be one of the matches of the night, 100%. These guys are going to put on a great performance. I'm going to back Will Ospreay for the win. Again, my only annoyance is that it's for a title that no one can see because Juice Robinson's holding it hostage. So a bit of an annoyance, but yeah.
The match, just a little. Sorry, I did it one more time there. I said, do you reckon that the championship being on the line harms this match a little bit? For me, it makes it seem a bit more predictable for the result.
Yes, I would agree. Especially, where we haven't seen an actual title being there. So it's like it's not out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. Ospreay is not going to lose to Orange Cassidy, you know, for his championship. Cassidy just came back as well. It's definitely going to be Will Ospreay as Ospreay, and if they've kind of, you know, like you said, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, it seems quite obvious. I mean, Will Ospreay, my prediction as well. There, like you say, it wouldn't be the first 10 people I would have picked Orange Cassidy to go against Will Ospreay, but as it's there, it's something different. It's a bit wild. I think it'll be like Revolution with Cassidy versus Pac a couple of years ago. I think it'll be that vibe. I think they'll find a way to bring something different out of the bag, and hopefully it should be a fun time. It is one of the matches I'm looking forward to on this show, even if it does seem a bit random. But Jonesy in the house saying that he won't be around later, but Jonesy, thank you for checking in anyway. Says that Cesaro Gargano will be the mystery person, so that's his shout there. We'll have to wait and see. And Alex Coughlin, I hope I've got it right second time around. He's one of my faves at the moment. Guys, awesome. Winner for me will be Max Caster, and the Gun Club was the NWC, who was on his channel earlier on today for This Week in Wrestling. Max, I know you're going to be there Saturday as well, so make sure to give the NWC show some love as well. But anything more to say on Ospreay, Cassidy, or should we move on to the next match?
Let's move on.
Let's move on indeed then. Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a winner take all, shall we? We've got the IWGP World Tag Team titles and the ROH Tag Team titles. We've got FTR with Ring of and Grado Khan, of course, for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, of course, we've got Roppongi Vice there, which are the wild card going for these titles. Now, for me, this one, I'm quite looking forward to it. I think that this could be a good tag team match. I'm quite intrigued with the result aspect more than the... because as both titles are on the line, someone is losing gold here. It doesn't feel so safe and predictable.
Yeah. I'm back in FTR. I think they have been absolutely fantastic. And I've even got an issue somewhat with how they're being booked. Like, I know they kind of caught up, and we mentioned at the top of this that, you know, the Forbidden Door booking for the show is kind of being forced. It's just kind of being plonked in the middle of two big things for either company. But FTR, they need to be on TV more. Like, they're having the absolute run of their life right now. So I think they're gonna win. It's gonna be a fantastic match. That's I mean, the bottom line. The match is gonna be awesome. They're gonna become the IWGP Tag Team Champions, which is the only major title anyway, they haven't won. Won everything in WWE. So AEW, Ring of Honor now, the Japanese title is all that's left for them, and you know, they definitely will force their way into that conversation of best tag team ever.
Yeah, they would definitely be in conversation if they do so. And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up the W in this. Like you said there, I think they're working towards FTR Young Bucks again, probably for All Out.
Yeah.
I wonder if there'd be a scenario where every single tag team championship was on the line in one match.
That would be mental. That would actually be mental. Imagine he done that in like a ladder match and all the belts are just draping from the top.
Oh, that would be brilliant. That would be great. That would be great. Yes. And I mean, the thing is, like, the only thing I would say from this that goes to the opposite, and this show, I mean, Jeff Cobb is one of my favorite wrestlers, by the way, from New Japan side, but I don't see them winning. But I had this alternative idea, and this is what maybe could sway my prediction a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on it quickly. Roppongi Vice are the one team that are consistently can be New Japan and also Ring of Honor. So no one else is having to defect. You won't see FTR go to Japan. You wouldn't have to see the United Empire come back to the States for Ring of Honor. Does it kind of make sense as a sleeper pick that Roppongi Vice could actually do it?
Yes, even more so than the United Empire guys winning it. 100% Roppongi Vice, especially because they've got the history in the IWGP. I think it was the junior tag team division. I don't think they've ever won the heavyweight tag team division title, which this is for. And they've never won the Ring of Honor tag team championships. So yeah, this could almost be a Cinderella story for them. So yeah, more so Roppongi Vice winning than I would even say United Empire taking home everything.
Absolutely. And of course, Trent Beretta did say at the start of this story about how he'd never won the ROH tag team titles, and that was a dream of his to do. And well, let's quickly just get the comments up before I give my prediction for you, because we've got Noob and Co saying FTR winning this one because they're not losing. Silk saying FTR. And also, as they're saying, don't forget the Triple R tag team titles. Of course, we won't forget Impact that they can go for this second. But I am going to go against everybody, and I'm going to say Roppongi Vice.
Okay.
I feel we can go either way, but I'm just going to... I feel on this show, but this show's been random. So, why not do one more thing that's kind of random? Just say as well, Silk in the house as well, saying that this will make Cassidy more credible going against Will Ospreay. I think that's a fair point.
Cassidy more credible. I guess so. He will put on a good showing. We've seen Cassidy in high-profile matches. He had that match, I think it was last year, when he went facing Pac and Kenny Omega for the World Heavyweight Championship. Really, really good match. So Cassidy is someone that they can slot into these high-profile places, and he can deliver a good match. So yeah, this could help build him on his way back as he's just returned from injury as well.
Absolutely. And Noob and Co is saying that Will Ospreay will retain. Do like his character as the assassin. Absolutely. Billy Goat is doing amazing things right now. And we've got Martin Carrera in the house as well, asking how we're both doing. Doing well, thank you. It's good to have you in the house. And he's asked a question, which means we are going to jump ahead to our next match. And in fact, let's do it. Let's talk about Zack Sabre Jr. against a mystery opponent. Of course, it was meant to be Bryan Danielson. It was called out on a... we have learned that Bryan Danielson is not going to be cleared for this, nor for Blood or Guts. So we are going to have someone else that will be joining the Blackpool Combat Club, a part of this. And Jonesy gave his predictions on it earlier on. Martin's saying if it's not Gargano or Cesaro, surprise, who else do you see? So I'm going to throw a name at you, Mex, and then we can get your ideas on it. Best technical wrestler in the world, Jonathan Gresham. What would be your thoughts if Gresham was the one?
So his name has popped up today. Listen, I think for the title of best technical wrestler in the world, yes, makes sense. Is he someone, again, that the crowd is familiar with? Is he someone that Bryan Danielson should be saying, I've got like a big surprise and I'm not going to tell you guys, going to find out on the night? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if he ticks those particular boxes. To put on a great match with Zack Sabre Jr., he'll probably do that in his sleep. Him or Zack Sabre Jr. It'll be too easy for them. But I just don't know if the likes of Gresham fulfills the fact of a big surprise. Is he going to get that big pop on the night? Or is it just going to be a bit like, oh, yeah, cool, Gresham's here, sort of thing? Like, at the same time, even if we went with Gresham, he's the Ring of Honor world champion. Him versus Zack Sabre Jr. Does he beat Zack Sabre Jr. then? Because it won't look great if the Ring of Honor world champion doesn't win. So I think that's always kind of thrown my prediction of this. I mean, straight away when Danielson said it, I was probably with the rest of everyone. I said Cesaro. Immediately, it's got to be Cesaro. But then at the same time, I still think they probably want to motivate a story between Zack Sabre Jr. and Danielson, which would mean, in my opinion, that Zack Sabre Jr. needs to beat whoever he's going to face. That, you said you were giving me the best technical wrestler in the world, but I beat him. So now I'm still after you, Danielson, sort of thing. So I'm not sure the likes of Gresham should come in and lose as champion. If Cesaro, the name that we all know and, love, should come in and lose, possibly. Gargano's been banded around. He's someone that could probably come in and take a loss. Is he very Blackpool Combat Club in how he is? I'm not too sure.
No.
Other names that have come to me late on is the former Oni Lorcan.
Interesting.
Bill Biswick, he could put on a good match. Timothy Thatcher as well, but I think Timothy Thatcher is currently in Japan still with Noah. I'll go with Cesaro as a surprise, and I'll go with a Cesaro win if it's him. But I think there's just too many options right now of who it could be.
Absolutely. Sorry, I cut off there, but like you said, there's too many options. And I'm going to throw one more at you because I agree with you, by the way. I think it'll be Cesaro as well. We've had to narrow it down to one. And I think for the reasons you said, we're bang on correct. But what if, I think we may be missing a layer of storytelling if this happens as well, but Sammy Guevara has gone to the JAS. What if Daniel Garcia defects and goes to the Blackpool Combat Club ahead of Blood and Guts?
Yeah, that would be brilliant because I think the whole JAS stuff is definitely to motivate Daniel Garcia. Like, I don't want to be a sports entertainer. I want to go back and be a pro wrestler. So I think that would be brilliant, but I think we definitely need some story in at least, like, if on this show after Danielson done his paper, he done his promo. If we saw like a backstage skit of just Danielson on the phone or something like that, and then like, you know, maybe some type of what's the word? Dissension between Garcia and the JAS. Just something that could, we don't have time to tell this fully fledged story, but something that could lead us to believe Danielson's called him in. That would be good. I think Garcia would be a fantastic choice. But like Danielson said, he's a heel, so we got to wait and see who's it going to be on Sunday night.
I have to wait and see how it's going to be. So I guess now, going blindly in, do we go for mystery person or do we go for Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think it's mystery person because just how wrestling goes, how do you prepare for mystery person? Mystery person always comes in and wins. So whoever it's going to be, I'm backing the mystery person.
I have to agree with you. Unless it's Johnny Elite, that's the only way. That's the letdown. He's the only one that's come in and went, no, I'm not winning tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way. But I mean, didn't they sort of get it wrong on the Twitter that it was Johnny Gargano at the time? So there's lots of different ways you can look at this of how it would be. There's lots of different ways. I mean, Silky says that I think someone like Danielson has wrestled a lot like Cesaro. So there you go. And he's batted a lot for Cesaro as well. So, I mean, it can go any different way here. Martin Correa, I'm going to change the screen quickly, says that the only show ever with Forbidden Door is that some people don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's pretty difficult, possibly, for people that don't watch New Japan to get invested like me. And that's the thing. If they've not given you enough to be invested, then that's on them because they should be giving you all the reasons to say, even though I don't know this, I need to go and check it out. Would that be a fair comment?
Yeah, 100%. Like, for instance, even when Zack Sabre Jr. came out, I won't repeat the profanities he was saying on the stage, but he's just like, you're just standing there cussing Danielson, and it's like, this guy is, especially, he's one of the best talkers out there right now, especially with his trash talk. So, you know, give him a mic, let him cut the promo. Like, if it wasn't for his Titron saying his name, do half the people in the crowd or at home know who he is, really? Like, at least, you know, one of those, I'm Zack Sabre Jr., I'm the best technical wrestler in the world, blah, blah, blah. Like, we've said it. There just hasn't been enough story or character build to introduce us to that Japanese audience. But like I said, and others have been saying, it seems like they don't really care about the casuals on an event like this. This is to please the hardcores.
It seems to be indeed there. Martin also goes on to say, I would rather use someone that hasn't been used in quite some time than bringing in more talent than they have enough depth on their roster. And that's a fair point as well. I mean, usually the thing is with the Blackpool Combat Club, you have to really earn your stripes. Wheeler Yuta had to bleed in both matches against Danielson and as well against Moxley. So has anyone done that you probably turn around and say, oh, God, I didn't see them coming in?
Oh, that's a good shout. Because even when I thought Cesaro, I thought, hold on, Moxley specifically said you ain't joining like this gang until you bleed with us. Yeah. So I was thinking, is there someone that has, you know, shed blood with either Danielson or Moxley and could do the honors here? No one came to mind immediately, but that's a good thing that we could keep our eye on.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, obviously, didn't bleed, but Dante Martin had a great showing against Moxley last week, so he's had a couple of good showings against the Blackpool
That's
Combat
true.
Club. So, you know, who's the other? Lee Moriarty, someone that they mentioned at the very start. So, I mean, there's some talent out there. So, definitely could be an idea. And Silk saying, how about someone like the former Cassius Ono?
Yeah, I heard his name banded around today as well. This guy hasn't wrestled in forever. I think he's been doing like seminars and coaching and stuff like that. Not to say he can't just turn it on, get in the ring and turn it on, but yeah, I'm not too sure. It would be a nice one for the crowd, to be completely fair. But again, I think when Danielson says big surprise, you would assume this is a WWE defect to AEW.
I would have to agree. And the thing is, I think it'd be great for the crowd, great for a lot of fans, but I've never been quite into Ono. I don't know what it is. I've never connected. So for me, I'd be a bit let down, but that's, you know, that's just me personally.
Ono, for me, was very good before WWE when he had a run on the indies with Cesaro. They were called Kings of Wrestling tag team. They were fantastic together. In WWE, he was there. They sacked him. He came back. Yeah, he was okay in NXT, but nothing to scream home about.
No, and that's probably with my experience of what I've seen. Unfortunately, only NXT is where I've seen him, so that would be that. But Review Geek 3000, thank you for checking out the stream. Hope you're doing well. Says for me, this pay-per-view is well stacked, even if Bryan Danielson isn't around. Sad he won't be there. However, after Hell in a Cell, I'm down for this pay-per-view. Hell in a Cell didn't give us enough to be invested in. Interesting.
That is true, and like he said, there's some big names. Like it almost feels criminal that this is happening and Kenny Omega's not around. Like these are some core names that we're not even anywhere near where we are today with AEW. If the likes of Kenny Omega, Bucks, you know, these particular guys, Okada at one point, you know, by last week, it was a doubt that Okada was going to be on this card. And I was thinking, no Omega, no Okada. How are you doing this event? Like, this is their event. But we've got Okada, Omega, maybe an appearance on the night.
We'll have to wait and see. That would be really exciting if that did go down there. Silk saying, bring Cesaro and Ono in for the Blackpool Combat Club. Could do with a tag team. Interesting thought there.
Yeah, that would be good. And like I said, they have history.
Indeed. Muscular is saying how crazy it is to have Slammiversary last weekend, Forbidden Door this weekend, and Money in the Bank next weekend. Looks like you guys' content will go through the roof. If viewership can do the same, we'd be extremely happy. I can tell you that.
Exactly.
Tino Simon House as well says there is too much on in the next 2 weeks. Tino, what are you going to do with your live streams? Honestly, he's all over the show as well, doing fantastic content over there. Make sure to subscribe to Tino's time as well. And for everyone that's watching right now, if you can do a favor, just hit the thumb up on this video if you are enjoying it. Even if you're not, do us a favor. It helps the algorithms here on YouTube, and we've got plenty of matches still to go through as well, including the next one, which we're going to talk about, which is a brand new championship mix. How exciting! The All-Atlantic Championship. We've got the four-way Malakai Black, Pac, Miro, and Tomohiro Ishii all competing in a four-way. To be fair, on paper, this looks like it's going to be absolutely awesome. But before we go into that, I want to get your thoughts on the All-Atlantic Championship. Does AEW need an All-Atlantic Championship?
I would argue that they don't. And that is coming from someone that advocates for belts. I love a title. Give me a promotion full of titles. But I feel the explanation for this title just made me think, okay, so you said this is going to be defended all around the world. It's a world title then, isn't it? Like, but you're not placing it as a world title. Is there a certain person that can go after it? They said it's going to be open to other continents, but people from America can go for it as well. And I was like, huh? Like, what is this? Is it, you know, does it sit above the TNT title? Does it sit below the TNT title? I mean, for me, I would rather, if the name is going to be the name, then cool. And maybe this was just going to be for light heavyweights, cruiserweights. Just something to kind of band it off and make it a bit different to everything else. I think we all thought the championship announcement a couple of weeks ago was going to be the trios title, which it almost desperately needs a bit more now because there's just loads of three-man partnerships, and with the bloated roster, that probably would have done a lot more than another singles title. I'm gonna enjoy it. The belt is beautiful, and like I said, I'm an absolute mark for a belt, so I'm gonna really enjoy it. But is it necessary? No.
No, I have to agree with you. I mean, the thing is, like, literally, you said there, like, for me, I don't think they need it, but the belt is a beaut. It is gorgeous. There's no arguments in that. And obviously, like you said there, to learn more about what this championship is going to represent, I think will help our appreciation for it in time. But obviously, what we can do is start off with a banging opening match in. We've got four competitors here who are going to, fight tooth and nail to go for it. Obviously, Malakai Black's got a fantastic record on AEW, fantastic striker as well. Pac, obviously, the homegrown for us. We'll be going for our boy Pac. We've got Miro, who's the Redeemer, he's back, and it's just so good to see him back. He would do a good job carrying that championship. And Ishii as well, obviously, he's, I can't wait to see Miro and Ishii mix it up.
Yeah. This is the field that got hit. Like, when I was looking at the brackets and stuff, I think I must have missed where they said basically the final was going to be a fatal four-way. I thought it was just going to go all the way down to the wire for two people. So to see this field is just absolutely brilliant. Ishii, absolutely hard hitter. He's going to take some real punishment in that match and dish out some as well. Pac, that's my favorite, and that's my pick. Pac has to win. Like, there's just no negotiation. I'm not really sure what he's been doing in AEW this entire time, but here he finds himself going after a title. He's got to win it. Malakai Black, he can hold off a bit more, because I think what's his guys called again?
House of Black.
That's something. They've got a bit of storyline. They've got a bit of momentum behind them, so that's cool. And obviously Miro has just returned. He's absolutely fantastic. He called God a coward last night. Oh my God. Like, he's brilliant. So yeah, I don't think he quite needs it just yet. I think this is Pac.
I'll tell you what, if God ever is to return to the wrestling ring, and for those who say he's never been there, check out 2006 WWE on the WWE Network or Peacock, wherever you are. He was there in the match, in the tag team match. If he ever makes a comeback, I need him against Miro. That's the only way I will allow God back in our squared circle ever again. But
Sure.
to be fair, to make a prediction, like you said, it would be so good for Pac to do it. I agree with you that there could be more mileage in if Miro loses, but I can't look past the Redeemer. He's that darn good in the ring. He may not be involved in the decision, but the thing is, I'm looking going, who's going to take the pinfall in this match? Is it Ishii?
For me, it's Ishii, yeah. Which kind of goes against how I've just built him up. But he's definitely, I think he's a favorite to take the pin. Let's put it that way. It could be anyone else, of course. There's four men involved. But yeah, I think Ishii is someone that they can pin. And obviously, it's an AEW title, so he'll just disappear from AEW TV and it won't be much of a worry.
One last question just before we go to the comments section. What if Ishii was to win it? And like you said, that it's going to go around all the Atlantic. That's the idea of it. And he takes it to New Japan, defends it over there, and then he bring it back, say, a month or two later. Maybe it's not a title that's consistently around in AEW all the time. Instead, it's spreading the word of AEW around in other promotions.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that, because like you said, it can do a lot for their growth in other areas. New Japan have done a lot in the last 3 to 6 months in terms of putting AEW programming on like New Japan World, which is then like network thing, and giving it English commentary and all of that kind of stuff. So that would be brilliant. It will almost be Heist of the Century-esque if Ishii walked out with that title. Similar to my opinions with the AEW World Championship match, which I'm sure we'll get onto. If Tanahashi could do something similar, then all of a sudden we've got to watch wherever Tanahashi's turning up defending that title. So this is the kind of unpredictability we would love as fans in our wrestling.
Absolutely. In Chicago as well, could he blow a kiss on the way out going over the guardrail?
That'd be great.
It would be awesome, wouldn't it? Let's go to the comments, shall we? Silk saying that this match should be called the Four Corners Championship. Is Silk's take on this. I've got to love that.
He could have done something like that. Like we say, like give it a meaning of who can go after it, or give it a gimmick where the belt is only defended in fatal four ways or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. There could be. It's something different, like you say there. Tino's time, he wants Malakai Black to win, but do you guys think this title will get lost in the shuffle? I think it depends how it's used after this.
Yeah, that's exactly it. How they've said this is meant to be for everyone around the Atlantic, but people from USA can go for it as well. It's like, make up your mind. Which one is it? And then maybe we can get behind it and see people from different promotions be defended in different promotions and stuff like you said. That could be, something to look forward to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. By the way, the idea that New Japan don't want Triple A superstars involved on this show. Imagine if this was done with Ishii, lost to someone else, then end up in Triple R like about 2 months later. Would New Japan abandon the title? I don't know what would happen with that, but yeah, different story for a different day. Politics, not on this channel. Silk saying, is Pat going to join House of Black? I don't see it now.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little window where something like that could have happened. But yeah, I think they moved past that, and this will give Death Triangle a bit of gold. It's been hopefully since they have won something.
Absolutely, indeed. There. Also, please put the title on our boy Pac, Review Geek. There, we highly feel the same on that one. Would love to see it happen. Martin says that they should have called it the Discovery Championship so that they can also discover other talents from around the world that fits an All-Atlantic. Well, it's something different.
Yeah, this is it. They just haven't really outlined the parameters of this title, which leaves us all scratching our head and wondering how is this different to anything else that you already have. But yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely. Martin also asking, hang on, let's make sure we get that up there correctly. There we are. Martin also asking, are House of Black and Death Triangle still feuding? Kinda. Not as much as it was, but still in matches.
Yeah, we saw Malakai Black and Pac give each other a bit of a look last night at Dynamite. Obviously, they're both going to be in this match. So yeah, maybe there's something still lingering.
Maybe. Hopefully it ends, though, very soon, because that's been going on a while. Martin says that when they announced this title, I thought it was the trio titles, as did we. And also Silk saying that, no, that Poison Mist just takes its time. Look how long it took Julia Hart to turn. Yes, it did. Far too long. Far too long.
Yeah, apparently Julia Hart was supposed to turn in February, they said, but I think it was because Rey Fenix was injured. They couldn't tell the whole story how they wanted to tell it. So that's why it got delayed for like another 3 months.
Absolutely, indeed. There. Well, that would explain a lot there. And thankfully, or hopefully, that wouldn't be the case if we wanted to do more. But if Pac is to join, do it soon, because we need to freshen things up with that feud. But we're going to freshen things up now because we can go on to our next match. But I say freshen things up. It could be going back to the 90s with the title, one of these teams. Bullet Club versus the Dudes with Attitudes. No Diesel and Shawn Michaels anywhere there, but obviously the Dudes of Attitudes, Sting, Darby Allin, Shingo, and Takahashi going against Bullet Club. For one, not only the Young Bucks are back in, Hukuleo and El Phantasmo. Some great talent in and amongst this match. In my opinion, it's a bit of a shame. It's a throwaway 8-man tag team match.
Yeah, El Phantasmo, for people that don't know, he's one of the best cruiserweights in the world. He's fantastic. I think he was a junior heavyweight to cruiserweight in New Japan sometime last year, maybe. We see him pop up on Impact as well from time to time. Very good wrestler. And then on the other side, I have to say I was very annoyed with Darby Allin last night. Obviously, he's the one that kind of announced this whole tag team thing and who's going to be on whose side. And just in like a throwaway line, he said, yeah, me and Sting are going to be partnering with Shingo and Hiromu. And I'm just like, sell us this match, Darby. Like, Shingo is he's a past former world champion. He was IWGP world champion last year. Like, and he is fantastic. And, you know, for those that don't know, you'll see him perform this weekend. Hiroku Takahashi is probably the best cruiserweight in the world today. Like, and for me, I felt like, I don't know, Darby was just even trying to remember their names, like the way he said Hiromu and Shingo. Oh, did I pronounce it okay? Like, I don't know why I know it's not really his character, but there was just no oomph in these guys that are really just filling positions. Like, again, Shingo, Takahashi, they shouldn't be in a match that looks like this. They should be in big, high-profile singles feuds going into Forbidden Door. But yeah, I feel like Darby, they've let that one slip. Maybe at least they can, you know, put on a crazy match, and which they probably will. Obviously, the Young Bucks and stuff are involved as well. But yeah, I just feel like Darby Allin just didn't sell his partners. It was almost like he was disappointed that these guys are my partners. Like, I got to drag them along to Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Now I can see where you're coming from. But it was something with Jeff Hardy as well when he had the match. Like, yeah, I'm facing Jeff Hardy tonight. He couldn't be more emo about it if he tried, could he? Imagine trying to get the guy a birthday present. He opens it up. Yeah, thank you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just
heartbreak.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? Poor partner that's got for him probably gets him the present he wants and doesn't even show gratitude. But anyway, on to pressing matters. And obviously, the Young Bucks are going to be part of Bullet Club one night. It's hard to bet against Bullet Club, but at the same time, you said the array of talent that is on Darby's team, and Sting is no no job or even at 60. So, I mean, how is this going to go down? Because Hikuleo, for me, is an outstanding talent. I've seen quite a bit of him in the Impact Wrestling. That's how I've been exposed to a lot of his showcase, if you want, in the ring. But I do feel at the moment he seems like he could be the sacrificial lamb in the match if someone was to be pinned. But do you go with potential or do you go with star power here?
I think it's just you're going to go with who's going to cause more chaos, and I'm going to go with Darby, and obviously Sting is just returning following injury as well. So yeah, that the team of dudes with attitude is who I'm going to back. The Young Bucks can take a loss; they're tag team champions, and El Phantasmo as well. Hikuleo will be the young man in this that can take the pin, and it won't hurt him too much. But yeah, this is probably going to be another one of these great, crazy tag team matches.
Absolutely. There's not really a hype going into it, but I think it will be fantastic on the night. And the thing is as well, just quick before we move on, you would argue this is kind of like the B squad, a bit of Bullet Club, really. You've not got your high profile names. Aren't you surprised that the Good Brothers aren't on this card at all?
You know what? Now that you mention it, yes. But you can't look past them turning up, because it's very typical for those guys to just roll in, referees not looking. Oh my God, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and he's just knocked someone over the head with something. So I think there's possibly still a position for them, something to do and a position to play within this match, especially. But it is surprising that they were not the chosen guys to kind of reform this Bullet Club for one night.
Absolutely. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly as well. He's not medically cleared, but wonder if he'll be around. Obviously, did the best sell job of all time with a back to the balls. If you've not seen it, check out Rampage. That definitely was definitely very entertaining. Why Kyle O'Reilly is one of the GOATs. But at the same time, I think this match could go either way. I'm going to go with you, dudes of attitudes, just purely because I've got to pick one side. I'm going to go with the star power. What can I say? But Silk here asking, does El Phantasmo still have that loaded boot? Max, you'll probably have a better idea on this than me.
I haven't seen him use it for a while. I think the last time I might have seen him use it was sometime in Wrestle Kingdom. So I don't think he's kind of using that gimmick anymore.
He's probably been shopping since, so you probably might not see it.
Pair of shoes.
Yeah, you might not see it on this weekend, Silk. But also, W. Allen's last round review was CM Punk for Martin. Fair dues. I mean, I'm enjoying the stuff with Sting, but I would say as well, though, that I want to see Darby in a more prominent position.
Darby's falling into this, I call it the Bray Wyatt position, where you're kind of so over with the fans, it doesn't even matter if you need to win. It's almost Jeff Hardy-esque, to be honest. And it's not great for those of us that do like him and want to see him do some more significant stuff. He does still get wins here and there, but it's the significance of the wins is what we're all talking about, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And I hope long-term, the direction we're going is Darby Allin and Adam Cole. I'm hoping that's the long-term direction when Cole is fit and firing once again properly in the ring. Because obviously he's in the four-way, but he has been injured as of late. Martin saying, I don't understand why the Young Bucks are in the match, I guess, for the Bullet Club thing, but they aren't. But aren't they feuding with Red Dragon? Well, they're not really feuding with Red Dragon. They're on the same page, aren't they? The Undisputed Elite at the moment. So they're kind of safe on that way. But Young Bucks, one, not only back to Bullet Club, they've probably got a good excuse to bring out a new T-shirt, make a load of cash, and yeah, that's probably what it all going to come down to end of the day.
Yeah, again, they're one of these names that this whole thing, AEW Forbidden Door, doesn't exist if the Young Bucks, probably particularly the Young Bucks, weren't so adventurous with their plans for professional wrestling, so successful. They made the whole thing of we're millionaires without going to WWE, which at the time, 2016, 17, it's unheard of. It's really unheard of. So, they are probably big proponents to this whole event. They were going to be on the card somewhere.
Absolutely. I have to agree with that 110% there. And Silk saying, what about Chris Bay showing up any chance? Also, Ace Austin now part of Bullet Club as well there. But they're Impact guys. Would that rule them out? I know we said the Good Brothers, but they have been more in Japan, if you want. They're all on the right-hand side of Jay White, then perhaps Chris Bay and Ace Austin. Again, talking more B squad at this particular moment.
Yeah. To be honest, I would slightly argue that the whole Bullet Club thing is B squad right now. It's not the glory days of Bullet Club as it used to be. Chris Bay and Ace Austin would be nice, but I think again for the sake of the audience and on the night, you probably want to see Good Brothers if anybody that's going to come in.
I would agree with you 100% there. And I think Chris Bay, by the way, slightly off tangent here, but being criminally underused more than what he currently is. He wasn't even featured on Sam Version on the main show, which I thought was outrageous, especially when Jack Evans was pulled off the show. But anyway,
he filled that position.
Yeah, he should have definitely all day long. And we'll go on to the next match, which I think is mainly to build up blood and guts. Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara against Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino, who I must admit be the first time me seeing him in action. Can you tell us a bit about Shota? Do you know much about him?
Young man, very good wrestler. When Moxley first went over to Japan following leaving WWE, he was like Moxley's protege, followed him around everywhere. Moxley would kind of slap him up a bit like he's doing with Yuta right now. Giving him that kind of hard, tough love sort of thing. Very good. Another one that they deem over there as next up sort of thing. Unfortunately, he may be the man to take the pin in this particular match. But yeah, he's a very good talent.
Even Excalibur hasn't filled us in like you have there, because I knew nothing about this at all. But it's really good to know that little bit of information, because it explains why he's part of this team. I must admit, even though it's kind of a bit of a throwaway 6-man tag team match, a trios match we've got here, I still like the idea that we've got Jericho and Suzuki on the same team, because should there be a reason that they may lose this match, I'd love the idea of them blaming each other.
Yeah. Suzuki just slapping up Jericho afterwards could be fun. To be honest, knowing Suzuki, that could happen anyway, win or lose. Like, he could probably turn around and do that. The way he just kind of strolled down to the ring, Vince McMahon-esque last night, was hilarious as well. I'm going to go with Jericho and Suzuki and Sammy Guevara. Obviously, Sammy Guevara just rejoined Jericho back at his side, JAS and all that. Jericho, again, like you said, this is very much probably to push forward Blood and Guts one more time before next week. So, I can imagine they get a big win here. Eddie Kingston probably shows a lot of heart, tries to kind of carry the younger boys on his side. But yeah, I'll think Jericho and Suzuki and Sammy Guevara get the win here.
I 100% agree. And just go on that Suzuki thing, but he was going nuts on Dynamite. He was pulling off the popcorn in someone. He pile drove someone on the floor as well. Like, we're meant to be having a stare down in the ring. Suzuki's like, no, I'm taking that attention away from that main event. He was absolutely legendary, Suzuki, in that.
Honestly, the guy is so special. Like, he gets older and he gets more crazy. Like, I think Suzuki might be about 55 right now. Like, he's crazy with it.
Absolutely. There's not many people that can have the haircut that he has, lose a hair versus hair match a couple of years ago, and look more scary actually having the hair shaved off when he's doing it himself with that evil stare. The man is an absolute genius at what he does. And even though, like you say, he's advancing, maybe not as, if you want, I don't know, crisp nimble. As some, nimble as perhaps what he once would have been. But I tell you what, he still has things noted down that people could only dream of doing in the ring, which makes him an outstanding talent. I agree with you. I think that the heels are going over on this one. It just seems to make the most sense. And we'll go into the comment section. Silk saying that Shota is Red Shoe's son, that Jericho assaulted when they had one of the matches in New Japan. There you go. That's something I didn't know either there. But I do remember that assault going down. So there we go. And he was apparently a young boy at the time. So yeah, interesting. We've also been given Martin here, Eddie Kingston versus Minoru Suzuki, first blood match. Book it, Tony. Mex, would you book it?
Listen, I love a bit of blood. So yeah, I would 100% book that.
Absolutely. Love a bit of guts as well. Blood and guts on Wednesday next week, which will be great. So, yeah, brilliant. I reckon the JS will be involved in that match as well. Probably help sway things over for the victory for the heel team. So, making sure now we get to our next match. We've got 3 matches to go. So let's go with the AEW Women's World Championship. We've got all AEW. Where's New Japan in this? We've got Thunder Rosa against Toni Storm, the #1 contender. And also, a little bit of note here where New Japan might be promoting this better than AEW, by the way. New Japan promoted this saying that Toni Storm is ex-Stardom, something that a lot of people may not be aware of. AEW probably could have gone down that avenue, but I guess they're AEWs now. But, I mean, at the same time, though, this should be a good match between the two ladies. But what's been your thought of the build?
Yeah, so just for those that don't know, New Japan doesn't have a women's division. They have this, the sister promotion, which is Stardom. It's seen as Stardom, which is an all-women's promotion. Fantastic promotion. For anyone that just wants to venture into Japanese Joshi wrestling, you're going to see the likes of Toni Storm has wrestled there. A lot of other women that we see in the WWE, AEW have been there. The likes of obviously Io Shirai, my head went blank. She was there for a very long time. Kairi Sane's back there now as well. So yeah, fantastic promotion. In terms of the build for this, listen, man, the women's division in AEW is starving. Like, they're acquiring really good talents, and it's just like they can't book them, or they don't know how to book them. But you book the men's division so well. Yeah. Like, they're just women. Like, they've got belts as well. Like, come on, get it together. And this is, I feel bad for Thunder Rosa, because I feel like, even just generally speaking, the TBS title is kind of being placed above the women's championship and everything. The TBS title seems to get more TV time, and is more stuff happening there. And Thunder Rosa, she said that she wants to try and, really put this on her back, but I don't think this is anything that any one woman can do. And Toni Storm, we know she's a world-renowned talent. We nearly lost her, and she nearly walked away from wrestling altogether earlier this year, but she's here. But nothing is changing. No matter who they bring in, who the names are, who's in the championship picture, nothing is really changing. They've told a bit of a story over the last few weeks in regards to these two, that, mutual respect for each other and all the usual, and Toni stands up with the title and eventually returns it to Thunder Rosa. I would expect Thunder Rosa to retain her championship, but in general, this has just been very, very dry. And to be honest, if not for just wanting to put a women's match on this card, this match just doesn't need to be here. It almost feels completely out of place on a card like this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would agree to it. I'm glad there's a women's match on this show, I would say. But like you said, the build of it hasn't been that strong. And obviously, like you say, you could have gone to Stardom to do so. We actually have a comment here actually saying, could Toni take that title to Stardom? I don't think she would, because she seems to be now all in AEW. She's not with Stardom anymore. But at the same time, and also Tino has said here that Thunder Rosa's reign hasn't been great. No, it hasn't. Been great. And I don't put all the blame on Thunder Rosa. She's an exceptional talent, but she's not been given decent material to work with. I mean, when you have a program against Serena Deeb and you're both going, we want to make women's wrestling really important here, and I want to put on the best match possible. So do I. It's like, you're feuding. Why are you agreeing for this? You shouldn't be agreeing. Like, what's going on here? Then, it just, when you do stuff like that, you're not going to get it over. And the problem is, I feel that as fans, we are being conditioned here by Tony Khan that the women's division doesn't matter, because it's been put in the same quarter of an hour of the show every week, which is seen as the before main event, where people probably see it as arguably the pee break, the go get your coffee, go and get your popcorn, whatever you want. Like, it's being deemed as unimportant. Everything's thrown together in that area. Even when Jade Cargill comes on, it's in that 15 minutes of the show, and it's frustrating. Put a match at the start of the show. Put it somewhere else so I can start feeling like it's important. Give me 2 matches. I'd start to feel that it's more important than what it's being presented. Because even when they're trying to build Toni Storm up and beating Britt Baker clean on TV, it's not connecting for some reason. Why is that not connecting for me?
It's not just you, man. It's me as well. I don't know what it is. Like, they've got the characters there. There's women in that division that have definitely got the ability. I just don't know why it's so frustrating. And even somewhat, like I said, the TBS championship is kind of taken over here. And that's just more of how they built Jade as just this massive monster sort of thing. It's still very interesting, but I would even say right now, where she's on whatever she's on, 33-0 in terms of victories, it's like, okay, you guys are gonna have to change direction soon. Like, and do you know what the next step is? It's a real big shame that through all the triumphs that the men's division has had, I think the greatest thing to happen to that women's division was the rise of Britt Baker to the championship. Even when she became champion, it wasn't all that great, if we're completely honest with ourselves. It wasn't bad, But this is the thing with all the women's champions. It's just like, it's okay. Like there hasn't been anyone that we've kind of said that this is an unforgettable champion, that, you know, she is the go-to championship reign for AEW in 3 years. We can't say that. Yeah, every man that's held the world championship, there's something been special about their reign, and we could all repeat it. So 3 years in, they still have a lot of work to do with their women's division. But maybe, again, this is just something to get on this card, and coming out of it, I optimistically say something can improve in terms of the booking of that division.
Fingers crossed. Absolutely agree with a lot of things you say there. And I'm going to say something here to go into my prediction. And the thing is, I'm a big Thunder Rosa fan. I'm going to say it first and foremost. But it's not connecting her as champion. I don't know what it is. Look, we put it down to creative. I'm not putting it down to the talent. I've seen her in other promotions, and I've enjoyed a Lucha Underground, whether it be where it be NWA. I've seen her do great stuff, and in my opinion, I know that she can be a great exceptional talent. But we've looked at the past women's champions. You just mentioned Dr. Britt Baker. She was champion for 9 months. I think it was stale for the last 3 or 4 for a year. And while she was champion for that full calendar year, she was like, not on Dynamite for like the last 5 months of her reign, it felt like. So, I mean, we've had the last 2 champions be long run champions. Let's get a hot potato in. Let's change it and mix it up. Give us something to talk about with the women's division. Let's give Toni Storm the championship. And that's why, rather than thinking, I'll tell you my prediction is Thunder retains, but I think Toni Storm should win.
I agree. And especially, again, this is the show for hardcores and stuff, Toni Storm winning would make sense. I just don't think they would do it because they want to give Thunder probably some type of decent reign. But I look at every woman winning, like Britt Baker. I thought when Britt Baker won this title, there is no way they're going to fumble this women's division now. Like, it's going to absolutely take off. And she done a good job. Like you said, the last few months was a bit painful. Thunder Rosa is now the champion. We've regressed as to where we were. Toni Storm is that talent. You know, she has the talent. She is known to the hardcores. She could be the person to at least help get us back to that Britt Baker level, and, you know, maybe kick on from there. So fingers crossed. Maybe we do need that shock on the night of a new women's champion.
Certainly, will give us something to talk about, because instantly Thunder Rosa can say, well, I need to get the belt back. Does she turn heel? Does she stay face? Does she work her way back up the ladder? Does she instantly get revenge? What happens? We've got something to talk about instantly, where if it's just Thunder Rosa retains, it's just like, where next?
Exactly, yeah.
No, that's the shameful part. Now, I've put some of the comments out. I've not put all of them out, so let's put the rest out, or certainly ones I remember that I've not put out. Silk, is Jade Cargill even on the card? No, she isn't at present stage, not that we know of. We'll see on Rampage if anything's added last minute. I was saying that I think that probably we would have been better with Thunder versus Jamie Hayter. Just needs to build up. Well, Jamie Hayter was part of Stardom as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's correct. She was there for a minute. Jamie Hayter could be, I mean, I know she's, you know, in Britt Baker's camp right now, but her winning the world title and then joining BCC, Blackpool Combat Club, I think that could be something good, because she said that she wants to be there. If she wasn't with Britt Baker, she's actually said that she would love to just be with them, beating up people. And putting the women's championship into a men's faction that would be booked relatively well, has been being booked relatively well, could be a different way to take this to, you know, uplift that title a bit more. I would be into something like that.
That would be interesting. Absolutely. We'll have to see how it would play out. And I definitely would be on board with that. That would be an awesome idea. Martin says the issue with this match is that they've helped each other out during beatdowns, but haven't thrown something to make it feel important, interesting. Of course, yeah, they've had the Marina Shafir, which I don't think has been helping. I've not been connected with her stuff, unfortunately, at the moment. Obviously, you've had Nyla Rose join in this week as well. Probably a tag team match coming somewhere further down the line as well. Maybe one of them needs to turn heel. It feels like I'm talking about GM mode here on WWE 2K22. Needs to be the face heel dynamic.
Listen, there's something needs to happen. Like you said, this might just be a fact of whatever happens on Sunday, then we just move on. But it's like, move on to what? Unless Toni Storm gets the win, I don't even know who's next for Thunder Rosa. I don't know what's happening with the women's rankings. They don't really publish them so much anymore. It's just an overall overhaul of this division is needed.
Absolutely, indeed. It still goes on to say here, if they took the title from Thunder Rosa, a lot of media outlets would probably report it was because of her comments about her reign as champ. Well, if that's the case, do it, I'd say, because you can make a storyline out of that. I felt very Vince Russo just saying that just immediately.
Do it. Book it, brother.
Exactly. And also, Martin is saying at this current moment, I think we can all agree that Shida had the best championship reign since AEW started off. I think Shida up there, along with Britt Baker, they're probably on par. I mean, Britt Baker's first few months to me was very hot at the time, but Shida did have a good run.
Shida was not given the opportunity to develop her character. Maybe language barrier and all the usual stuff we hear. But every time she was given a match, especially her title defenses, fantastic matches she was putting on. Where on the other side of the coin, Britt Baker on her charge to the title, and then after she won it, fantastic entertainment. Had the whole crowd in the palm of her hand. Nobody else deserved the title then. We maybe need someone in this division that can mesh the two. Big personality, big wrestling ability. And then, yeah, hopefully that could help towards making things take off.
Certainly did that. Right, then final prediction then for this one. Next, one more time. What was your pick?
Thunder Rosa to retain.
I believe Thunder Rosa will retain as well. But as I say, we'll be hoping that Toni Storm does do the job. Southern Pro Wrestling in the house saying evening. Hope you're all hope you're both well. We are. Thank you very much for checking out the stream. Hope you're doing well. He's given mention a couple of matches we've spoken about already, but I will read the comments out. Of course, I'd like to get the four-way hose fight regarding that title match. Pac should be the first, as he's been there the longest. Certainly a fair argument there. We've already, but Max, have you got something you'd like to say there for that?
I mean, my one fear with Pac, obviously, we've seen how kind of inconsistent he's been on TV. Apparently, he's still living in Newcastle. He doesn't want to move to America, clearly. I don't know. To be honest, if he wins the championship, being All-Atlantic, that could work in his favor. Defend it in the UK and Europe and stuff like that. But yeah, I would like to think if he does win this championship, that has to be a ticket to be on TV more often, giving us just some of those fantastic matches. I always remember his run as Neville as Cruiserweight champion. That has got to be one of the best runs I have ever seen, where he basically was this Pac character, just putting on fantastic bangers on 205 Live week after week. Like, that's what we need from him now. He needs to remind people of who he was. Like, he came to this promotion to be world champion. Let's be completely honest. Like, when AEW was in its inception, he was one of those guys that they thought, we're going to push him right to the top. And yeah, hopefully this is the platform that he needs.
Certainly did. I mean, the thing is, we hadn't lost for like 2 years at that point, had he? When he was
exactly.
coming in, they were building up. So, yeah, they need to remind us what he was. So I totally agree with you. That time in 205 Live then was an awesome time for the Cruiserweight division at that particular point. And he does also go on to say Southern Pro, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Claudio, versus Johnny Gargano, versus Jonathan Gresham, any of the three. But his heart says Claudio. We'll have to wait and see who it will be. But we did give our prediction earlier in the stream. So Southern Pro, if you get a chance, just go a little bit further back and you can hear what our final prediction was on that one, because we've got two more matches we need to discuss. And boy, oh boy, there are a couple of big matches as well. We're going to be talking about the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the four-way, Jay White versus Hangman Page versus Kazuchika Okada versus Adam Cole. Wow, this on paper is incredible. When you look, though, at the build, it's been quite random.
Very random.
And just make sure that I'm still... Can you hear me, Mex?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
You can hear me. That's good. Jay White obviously said that he wasn't going to defend it against Hangman, wasn't going to defend Okada. Of course, he won the belt from Okada at Dominion. What's your take on how this has been put together?
It's been a bit of a cluster F, to be completely honest. It's been a mess. Like you said, Jay White denounced all of these men, said, I'm not defending it against you. He told Hangman, beforehand, you're not going to face Okada for the title because Okada may not be champion come Forbidden Door. Rightly so. Jay White won the title at Dominion, like you said. Told Adam Cole last week, broke his friend's heart that, I'm not facing you for the title either. Told both men again last night that I'm not facing you guys for the title. And then lo and behold, Rainmaker walks in and it's a fatal four-way and he is facing all of these men for the title. I don't know what's happened there behind the scenes. Was this always the plan? Could have never been the plan because this is just, it wasn't good enough. But yeah, the name value, I was saying in my video that I put out today, Again, this isn't what we signed up for. We don't need fatal four-way matches on a night like this. However, Adam Cole, Hangman, these are fan favorites. Jay White, he is a terrific wrestler, one of the best heels in the business today. And Okada, just one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like, if there's any four men that you have to throw together in a match on a night like this, I guess it's something like this. It should probably be said that it's probably designed to protect Okada, that seems to have had a bit of a niggling injury. Adam Cole as well coming into this match with a bit of a niggling injury. So probably will be heavy on Jay White and Hangman carrying this match. But listen, I think it's just a load of fun, especially with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, because of the sports feel and the reverence of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's never really defended in gimmick matches or stuff like this. It's usually a straight singles match. So this is very different. Great to see Okada debut. That's the big name that I think we've all been waiting for with these sort of crossing over and stuff like that. This should be a really good match. I'm going to go with Jay White to retain. He's sneaky enough to pull a fast one, probably pin his mate, Adam Cole, and walk out as champion.
That's an interesting thought then. And the thing is, the dynamics of this match seem a lot of fun, like you said there, with Will Cole and White turn on one another at one point, but they'll probably have to work together to start off the match before something goes wrong somewhere along the line. Okada obviously was champion not long ago. Now he's lost the belt. Could this just be a ploy for him to take the belt back to New Japan, make a title change in AEW?
That could be good. I guess Jay White's probably doing a bit more in the way of global promotion for that title right now. Okada probably enters the G1, and that's his route back to the title later on in the year, or for Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, he will still be amongst it. I just don't think they're going to give Jay White like a couple weeks reign and take the belt from him.
It's not really a New Japan thing from what I have seen of it. They usually have long and lengthy, memorable reigns. It's very, I remember it was a big deal, I think, at the time. I think with Shingo was the champion, lost it in a month to Ospreay, and it was like, well, it's a big deal because a title change never happens that quickly. So obviously I can't quote the day or time because Sam, a very casual fan. But,
it was early last year that happened. Yeah.
Was it
first
last
half
year?
of last year. Yeah.
Thank you, Max. He's like a walking Google for me. That's what I like to see when it comes to it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, when it comes down to this, there's a lot of ways this can go. I got one question, which I'm going to pull up now, just because I want to give my take on it, just and to get your take on it as well. Would you have booked Okada and Hangman versus White and Colt instead of the four-way? I'm going to say no, but here's what I say should happen. This tag match should have been happening on Rampage tomorrow. I know it would have been pre-recorded, but what else to make you say, I need to tune in than to see a tag match with these four people in? That would bump a Rampage rating, surely, would it?
100%. Okada wrestling and US TV would have bumped the ratings 100%. Yeah, that would have been a great idea as a taster, almost like we got Moxley and Tanahashi on Dynamite last night. If anything, for the card, instead, it could have been a Hangman versus Okada, and then Adam Page versus Jay White. Adam Cole and Jay White have been very pally-pally in all of this. Even in the promotion, they were the ones that kind of announced Forbidden Door. So everything could have led to them having the bust up and then having a match for the title on the pay-per-view. So yeah, maybe two singles matches would have worked well, but I'm happy. I'm content with what we've got.
Same, I agree with you. I think they could have got singles matches out of it, but I do actually think I'm actually kind of looking forward to this match as well. There's another question that's coming in from Tino. Says, do you think this will be the best match of the night? I mean, you would put safe money that you think it would be. You know that this could be a match. There are other matches you think it's got potential to steal the show. Cassidy, Ospreay, probably Moxley versus Tanahashi. But if you turn around and say to me, pick one match now, and a tag match as well, by the way. But if you can pick one match now, and you said that would be match of the night, I imagine this would be the one I would pick.
Yeah, I would definitely say for me, this would be maybe in the top three matches of the night. It's going to be in the top three matches, along with Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, and the All-Atlantic match. But again, some of those tag team matches that we got on the night, don't sleep on them. They're going to be good too.
Yeah, they are going to be very good indeed there. So we'll have to see how it will go. So prediction time then. Just next.
You asked me, sorry, you cut out. Was it my prediction?
Yes, please. Yes.
Jay White to retain. I'm going to go with Jay White to retain.
Sounds sensible. I'm going to do the same because I think it's the sensible route to go down of his work as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Okada was to do it. But we've got Jay White here, retains for Silk. Also got a question here from Southern Pro Wrestling. Does Kenny Omega... I cut out again, didn't I?
Yeah, Kenny Omega, does he return after this match? That would be good. That would be a good way to introduce him. Him and Jay White have history. Jay White has even said on record on AEW TV, I think it was, or maybe it was after he won the title at Dominion, he said that, you know, I'm the catalyst. Because I beat Kenny Omega for the United States Championship, he fled to go and create AEW, somewhere he could win. So, you know, Kenny Omega coming back and at least a stare down or something like that could be pretty good.
It would be awesome. I don't expect it, but I think that I would love to see Omega make the appearance on this show, even if it's not to do with this match. I think it would be a very special moment on this Forbidden Door show. People will be talking if it was to happen. Martin says he's got the feeling that Jay White will lose the title since they made it a four-way and could see Cole winning the title. So what about this idea then? Should AEW and New Japan do a shock thing of a show?
I mean, we love a surprise in wrestling, don't we? It's the lifeblood of the business for the fans anyway. Cole to be the guy to beat Jay White, I can't see it. New Japan is, I'm just looking at it from a business point of view because New Japan is getting back on their feet. They've obviously backed Jay White because he's got that crossover appeal as well. They're still very heavy into their Okadas, Shingos, Ospreay, somewhat more than even Adam Cole. So I can't see anything like that happening. I don't mind the title change on the night, but for Adam Cole to win it would be very peculiar. Any of the other three men, yes. Adam Cole, I'm not so sure.
There we go. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Adam Cole would be the outsider for myself personally, although I'm a big Adam Cole fan, wouldn't be against it. So Tino can see Kenny returning. He thinks that certainly could be a potential. Silky is saying that Jay White beating a former IWGP champ, former AEW champ, and arguably one of the best stars in Cole will do wonders for Jay's run as champion. You couldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, it gives him more material to run his mouth. So definitely.
And plus it's Jay White's first title defense too. What a way to defend your title in first defense, eh?
Yeah, it's going to go down in history. Co-main event.
Co-main event indeed, yeah. And Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy will be a match everyone will sleep on, but it will shock a lot of us. Totally agree with that. We said that we think there's a lot of potential in that match and certainly a lot of potential in our main event. Mex, are you ready for it?
Let's go.
Let's go indeed. It is Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. 3 years in the making this match for the AEW Interim World Championship. That's right, I said the word interim. I'm not sure I think about the word interim, if I'm being brutally honest with you, but what I am looking forward to is this encounter. Mex, are you as excited for this one as I am?
I'm not. Okay, let me put it this way. I am, because Moxley has done a great job since he's become a free agent of really stressing the point that he wants to face Tanahashi, and Tanahashi's basically been ducking him and all of that. And he met Tanahashi not too long ago in a IWGP United States Championship match, but it's not the singles match that he's been craving. This is the singles match. It's for the biggest prize in AEW, the world title. But it's just all a bit too obvious that Moxley is going to win for me, and that's what's probably taking me out of it a bit. I have no issue with Moxley. I think he's brilliant. I think he's great entertainment, fantastic wrestler. But imagine the panic amongst fans almost, and the reaction if Tanahashi was to walk out as champion. And I just feel like that kind of chaos is what's needed right at the end of the show. I mean, you mentioned blowing a kiss and jumping over the barrier and walking out earlier on with Ishii. This could be something really special. Oh my God, Moxley, you've fumbled it. And now Tanahashi is taking this belt to Japan and anywhere else he's taking it to. Even something like that where Moxley can go a bit crazed and follows Tanahashi around the world, chasing him back for this title, and then maybe eventually wins it, and then you get the impending Punk versus Moxley feud whenever Punk's ready. I'm trying to see how we remain entertained as fans if Moxley just wins this title and brings it back to Dynamite, and then what? And even for BCC, he kind of just makes himself almost a bit above everything else that might be happening in BCC. Is he now the leader because he's got the world title? Moxley is definitely the guy to be in this position, and facing, Tanahashi, and it plays into their story they've been having in New Japan, which is excellent. Great timing and everything, but I'm here for chaos. So I need Tanahashi to make us think, oh my God, what has happened and what is going to happen. So my prediction is going to be Moxley, but deep down in my heart, I want a Tanahashi win.
I can understand that. Like you say, chaos ensues and chaos always rules above all. And I'm not necessarily talking about the New Japan unit faction. But who is the ace is the big question. I will say, believable as of late, though. His promo, the way he delivers himself in the ring since his comeback has been another level. I feel Moxley is getting back to that where you believe in him being the top star. He pushed AEW through the pandemic as their top single star. I think he could be that level again. But I do agree with you. There is a sense of predictability with this match. I don't see any other way than Jon Moxley picking up the win. The only way I see this spicing up, and it's a question I wanted to go afterwards with the chat, but I'm going to do it now, if you don't mind, Bex. I'm going to ask you, what if MJF returns at the end of this and attacks Jon Moxley from behind to close off the show and is saying, this isn't a forbidden door, AEW New Japan. You agreed to this. The forbidden door is me coming in. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm suspended. This is what the real forbidden door looks like. You want to keep me at home? I'm the guy that turns up when I want to, and I'll be at home when I want to. I'm going to prove I'm the most valuable asset this company's got by...
Someone needs to give you the pen because you are writing, you are booking these stories. MJF definitely should show up somewhere in this pay-per-view. Main event would be brilliant. MJF somehow beating Moxley for this title, and then we get that rubber match, MJF versus Punk, both titles on the line, both interim titles, and we see who the real world champion is. Could be a great way to go as well. We haven't seen MJF for what now? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe?
At least 3.
Yeah. So, out of sight, a bit out of mind, but this could be a really good way. Moxley's had the big celebration after winning the world title. He's had that before. So a shock way to end this of MJF coming out, spoiling all celebrations, taking to the mic, pulling a crazy promo again. I'll be up for that. 100%.
I'd love to see it personally. And one of the reasons I asked is because I have a fantasy booking video of MJF, the summer of MJF, and that is exactly what I did in it. And if anyone wants to see that video, then at the end of this one, just click in the video options that you've got on the SCW channel. That's all you have to do. Simple as that. I'd love it to go down. I wonder if it will. It probably won't. But let's go into the chat anyway and see what everyone has got to say here about this. Southern Pro Wrestling here saying that Tatsuya Naito, not of the Lucha Bros and Bandido, Rouge, Andrade, and Naito. Would have been awesome to see all that, but a ton of those wrestlers can't be on there, as we said, with the relationship with New Japan and Triple R. But obviously, Naito is not a part of this show. It's a shame he's not a part of it. Obviously, we know the likes of Kenta's not there, Punk's not there, Danielson, Omega. So there is some big names missing. But what about Naito?
Yeah, it is very weird that someone as big as Naito, if we're talking pillars of New Japan, Naito in the current crop is one of those pillars. I don't believe he's injured. I can only assume, and to be honest, that's probably a wrong assumption to make. I was going to say that he has a lot of ties to these guys like Andrade and stuff like that in their faction, Los Ingobernables, over in New Japan. So, and maybe with that whole Triple R stuff, that's why they don't want to put Naito on the card. I'm probably wrong, but it's very weird that Naito hasn't found a position on this card, being, where you got Tanahashi, you've got Okada. Naito's name probably follows after those two before anybody else in the current crop. So yeah, it is a bit of a mystery. But like you said, some of those other names, the Mexican and the Spanish-based guys, they can't because of disagreements between the two companies.
Absolutely. And do you know what? I don't know if Kevin Kelly's going to be on commentary, but to not hear the word Destino.
Yeah, I love how those guys sell those finishes. That Rainmaker, when they scream Rainmaker, yeah, brilliant.
Do you reckon Kevin Kelly will be there?
He's got to be there. Him and Red Shoes, they have got to be there. Like, they are definitely like, part of the furniture when it comes to New Japan. So you're having a inter-promotional event, you got to bring those guys in and get them involved.
Sounds good to me. And Excalibur would have to be on that set as well, I'd imagine. But Silky saying, got to go, great show, fellas. But I will leave you with this. Tanahashi will be your new AEW World Champion. I'm going for the shock factor. So Mex has got his fingers crossed there. So you can see it does seem to be a popular decision as well. C Nation Dog in the house. Hope you're doing well, C Nation. AEW should have forced CM Punk to vacate the AEW Championship because he is injured. What's your thoughts on this interim stuff? And that should it have been the actual championship here? Does that take away from the match for you a little bit as well?
I'm keeping it clean on your channel, Steve. I'm not going to say my thoughts on what this is. But yeah, the whole interim stuff is, I just think it's a bit of a nonsense. Walking around with 2 belts, I just think it's a nonsense. He has to vacate it if he's injured and he can't defend it. There is no harm in just making him the de facto #1 contender. When he's back, when he's fit, he takes on whoever's champion. And that's a fair way to give him an opportunity at his championship back. I don't feel like this interim thing does this really count? Is Moxley a 2-time champion if he wins? Like, I just feel like there's too many unwritten rules, and do we count this as a second reign and all that kind of stuff? So yeah.
I agree 100% there, and I do think if Punk's out for the long term, the vacate could have been done, and they just don't do the interim. I'm not fan of the interim. They've done it with ROH titles as well, the TNT title. That was the start of what made the TNT title a mess as well, in my opinion. Yeah. So I hope it doesn't happen with the world title either.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Southern Pro Wrestling. Kenta should have had this main event spot against Punk. Maybe we could see it all out this year. Do you reckon there's a chance? I mean, Kenta did come in halfway through the year before.
Yeah, personally, I think the Kenta Punk boat has sailed. Kenta was calling out Punk a lot. Obviously, they both used the GTS, or Punk adopted the GTS from Kenta. But let's be completely honest, Kenta versus Punk is not a money match. Like, you're not putting that on a card like this if you have the opportunity. If you've got Punk isn't facing Kenta at the first ever Forbidden Door. There may be about 3 or 4 Forbidden Doors and let the whole thing kind of cool down before we then get a match like Kenta versus Punk. That could easily be a dynamite match and be a good one, and that's the end of it. So yeah.
That's fair point. Fair point indeed. I had it in my predictions originally before people got injured and taken out and mixed around when I had it, however it went. But yeah, I agree. They could go different directions with CM Punk. There's so many people in New Japan that'll be fun to see him face. Obviously, the battle with the GTS will appeal to some, but I would agree that Kenta's not one of the top guys either on there. But Tino's Time does say, do you think when Punk comes back that the winner of this match will still have the interim championship? Could we see something like similar to Cena and Punk where they unify the titles? They probably will unify the titles, I would have thought, when he comes back. But the only thing I would say is a twist is if MJF beats Moxley in the meantime. What would you see?
Yeah, I agree. It could be someone like Moxley that wins. Tanahashi versus Punk is a big match that I know Punk wants definitely as well. So if Tanahashi was to get it done, or maybe later on down the line he was to overcome and beat Moxley, something like that could happen. But I think your prediction with MJF is probably the right one in terms of if it's not going to be Moxley versus Punk, MJF is really who it should be to beat whoever comes out as champion and then face Punk later on down the line to unify those titles.
It would be interesting to see how that would go down, absolutely. And some Pro Wrestling says, what shall we say? BCC almost got killed on Twitter this morning with that mistype. Yeah, Twitter's a cesspool of people that shouldn't have access to the internet. So I wouldn't worry about Twitter, unfortunately. I'm less and less active on Twitter as days go by because I honestly go on and I think, why am I wasting my life reading this stuff?
Yeah. Twitter is an absolute mess at times. So yeah, you got to be careful what you're following as well. And it's the breeding ground of a lot of toxicity. But you're one of the good ones, Steve. You got a lot of good opinions. You know, take things for as they are. And yeah, it is hard not to get dragged into the madness.
Absolutely. I thank you for the kind words, and it's right back at yourself as well then. Like you say, yeah, it's easy to get caught in the toxic world of Twitter, but yeah, take it with a pinch of salt. But Martin says, what if Shane McMahon cashes in Best of the World trophy to the winner of this match and it becomes all elite? Crazy stuff's happened, but yeah, I think you know the answer to this one, Martin, without us having to go there.
As they say in wrestling, never say never.
Never say never. Martin Greer, I will go with Mox, maybe hitting 3 paradigm shifts to get the W. That certainly could be a possibility. They love a number of finishes in New Japan, don't they? Normally about 5 Rainmakers to get the win. But yeah, it would be awesome to see if it goes down.
Yeah.
Southern Pro Wrestling, a ring announcer, better be there, lol. Tanahashi Hiroshi. There we go. The ring announcer, it could be there. You never know. Maybe could have one for one and one for the other, or just alternate matches. There could be ways to go down. Certainly would be interesting to see it. I wouldn't be against it.
Mm-hmm. They're going to definitely, like we say, Kevin Kelly on commentary, Red Shoes refereeing some of the high-profile matches. They definitely need to make this feel like a joint event.
Absolutely. Martin asking, would you like to see Impact and WWE do a crossover like AEW and New Japan are maybe? I would say more NXT than WWE. If it was to happen, how would you feel?
I'm here for crossovers no matter who's involved, to be completely honest. But, we know WWE. They're not going to play ball with anyone else. WWE have just about done a crossover with NXT on one occasion. So, I think that's just so far-fetched right now. It's like they grit their teeth just to say Mickie James was the Impact champion when she came at Royal Rumble. So it's just so far from a reality right now. But AEW and Impact would be great fun. Impact, Ring of Honor, once Ring of Honor's up and running. More collaborations, definitely.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. And definitely it would be awesome to see them do it. But as Mick said, WWE would not play ball with losing to anyone. They just about did it in their own company with the invasion of WCW and ECW. They were very hard by to do that in 2001. And speaking of cards, everyone's saying about the dig about this card. Anyone seen the Invasion match card? It's awful. It's awful, but it's still one of the biggest grossing pay-per-views of all time.
Yeah, that's
Martha says, it barely came to mind, but what if Danielson picks Kushida as the mystery person? Now, Kushida is back in New Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he turned up this past week. Again, it just doesn't reek of big surprise. There is nothing wrong with half of these names that people are mentioning. It's just when someone like Danielson comes out and says, I've got a big surprise, these aren't the names. And I think in terms of caliber of names, the only ones that do tick the box that are being banded around is Gargano and Cesaro. Everyone else would be fine, formidable opponents, put on a great technical wrestling match, but they're just not quite the caliber of name that you would think. But Kushida is one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, one of the best cruiserweights in the world for sure. But nah, not for me.
I think it's a case of if they were just to announce the opponent, it would be better. When you start putting mystery person, all of a sudden you put yourself a whole ton of heat in there, because if it's not who people want it to be, it gets a lot of backlash.
Yeah, exactly. And we know what, Twitter and that, like we were just saying. We'll see come Sunday night.
Absolutely. We'll go down for our last 3 comments then, and we'll wrap up the stream. Southern Pro Wrestling. Ace Austin versus Hiruma Takahashi at Bound for Glory, Steve. I would love to see it. I'm going to say that now. Would love it. Yeah,
that's a fantastic match, on paper. So hopefully we can get that somewhere down the line.
That would be awesome, yeah. And also we see Impact in New Japan do Forbidden Door stuff all the time, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. Toru Yano to stare down Orange Cassidy and long-term book them for next year. Please make it happen. I would buy the DVD.
Yeah, I think Yano not on a card like this, just in some capacity. Maybe we see him pop up on the night backstage segment. He is the funny man, the joke man of New Japan. So something like that. Him mingling with Orange Cassidy or Danhausen could be some good fun.
That would be amazing. I'd love to see it with Danhausen as well. Yeah, backstage. I was just going to say one thing. I was expecting on the buy-in, I didn't say this at the start of the video, but couldn't they have not done a New Japan Rumble just to kick off the show? Could have got a lot of faces in the ring for a little bit. Could have been fun for some throwbacks.
That's true. Obviously, AEW do that casino battle royale thing anyway. So yeah, maybe that's a bit of a missed opportunity. Maybe they're listening to you and they might just pull it out on the night.
Tony, if you're listening, I don't need royalties. But Southern says the mystery person for Danielson is a new member, as it was mentioned. It's Claudio Fiss. The entire faction would be interesting if it is going to be Claudio. Obviously, we will say now, if you've not gone back, we did go for Claudio being the potential one. We'd like to see that happen. Martin says, great stream, had fun here. And Shane McMahon is what? The best in the world, apparently. But he's not. We'll finish up with saying Shane McMahon is not going to appear at Forbidden Door. If he does, then Tony Khan really has shocked us with that mystery person, because he's not the best technical wrestler by any stretch of the imagination. But Mex, before we close off the stream today, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and joining me here for predictions. It's been great to get your viewpoints on everything Forbidden Door, as well as your insight with New Japan and everything like that. Please, everyone, let everyone know about your fantastic channel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again, Steve. It's always great fun talking through these pay-per-views or answering the questions from your great community. WrestleManiac UK. It's just there, my name on the screen. You can find my channel there. On Instagram as well for some kind of more short news items, funny skits and stuff like that. On TikTok as well. And yeah, on the Wrestling's channel, we're gearing up for it's going to be absolutely crazy. I try to stay awake, but on Sunday we're actually doing a live watch party. Yeah, we're going to be down at a studio, and you'll see all our live reactions to the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So if you're not already, subscribe to Wrestling's as well on YouTube, so you can catch some of that watch party.
If it's anything like your vlogs are when you're all together watching these AEW shows, watching it live is going to be special. That could almost be as entertaining, if not more, than watching the pay-per-view itself. So now at the end of this, go and subscribe over there. I do highly recommend it. And like I say, go and subscribe as well to WrestleManiac UK. He does honestly some fantastic work. And I can even vouch for the Instagram stuff as well. Incredible stuff that you do. A dedicated member of our wrestling community. And last question that goes directly to you, Mex. What happened to Gresham with Progress?
He got injured, so they stripped him of his title and had a tournament to crown a new champion, which Chris Ridgway won. So it was a bit unfortunate. He was doing some good work. He was doing some heel work, which I'd never seen him do in his career before, down in Progress. So a lot of fun stuff from Gresham. He gets bandied with just like, you know, the octopus, the technical guy. He's got a personality in him. That's for sure. So, yeah, it was just unfortunate the way his reign ended.
Absolutely. I love this work with the Foundation when he's been doing babyface stuff and heel stuff as well there. So, yeah, I completely agree with you there. Tino's Timer, subscribe to WrestleManiac UK. Absolutely brilliant. We love to see it.
Thank you.
Love to see it. And he says, great episode as well. Thank you, Tino. And thank you to everyone that has been watching. If you can like this video as well, please, if you've enjoyed it, also subscribe to SCW if you haven't already. More videos will be dropping on the channel, including a great collaboration with Money in the Bank will be coming up. Hopefully on the weekend. It has been a little bit more delayed. Life has just gotten away a little bit recently, but I will get it out for the weekend. I've got fantasy booking for Money in the Bank as well. And also looking forward to doing a sort of review, reaction, something along that line with Forbidden Door on Monday. So I hope that you'll come back and check that out as well. But thanks for watching as always. Take care. Have a great day. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. All the best.